Hi, everyone. Welcome back to English Podcast, day 23 of the 30-day English Challenge.
Day 23. Yesterday, we told stories. Today, we're doing something a little more challenging debating.
Debating always makes me nervous. I worry that disagreeing with someone will make me sound rude, even when I don't mean it that way at all.
That's such a common worry, honestly, and it's exactly why today's episode exists. Today's topic is I see your point, but debating politely.
I like that title already. It sounds like disagreement doesn't have to mean conflict.
Exactly. Polite debating isn't about winning or losing, it's about sharing a different view while still respecting the other person completely.
I definitely need that reminder. I sometimes avoid disagreeing at all just to keep things smooth and comfortable.
And I've definitely seen the opposite too. People who disagree so bluntly, it feels more like an attack than a conversation.
Right, there's gotta be a middle ground somewhere between silent agreement and outright arguing.
That middle ground is exactly what we're building today with a simple, reusable structure.
Before the structure, let's talk about where this actually comes up, because it's more than just formal debates, right?
Definitely. Friendly disagreements with friends, differing opinions at work, family discussions about plans, even deciding where to eat with a group of people who all want something different.
Oh, that last one happens constantly. Someone wants noodles, someone wants pizza, and suddenly it's a whole negotiation.
The eternal where should we eat debate happening in every friend group in every country, probably since the beginning of time.
Honestly, it might be the most universal debate topic in human history.
Right, and there's also online discussions, book clubs, class discussions, and even quiet disagreements with a partner about small everyday choices.
Oh, and work meetings too, disagreeing with an idea while still keeping the whole team feeling respected and heard.
Exactly. Polite debating is genuinely everywhere, anytime two people simply see something a little differently.
Oh, and movie recommendations too. Someone insists a film is a masterpiece, and you quietly disagree, but don't want to seem like you have bad taste.
The classic movie debate. It was fine is doing a lot of diplomatic work in that sentence.
And parenting or life choices too, sometimes, between friends who've simply chosen different paths.
True, and those especially need real care, since they can feel more personal than a simple opinion about coffee.
Okay, before the structure, one more question. Is there a cultural side to this too, like day one?
Actually, yes, a really useful one. In a lot of English speaking cultures, especially in workplaces and academic settings, this agreement is actually expected and even valued as long as it stays respectful.
Really? So disagreeing isn't seen as rude at all?
Not usually, no, as long as you acknowledge the other person's view first. Jumping straight into disagreement without any acknowledgement is usually what feels harsh, not the disagreement itself.
Oh, that's such an important distinction. It's not disagreeing that's the problem, it's how you get there.
Exactly. A little acknowledgement first completely changes how the actual disagreement actually lands.
That's such a useful mindset. Okay, now I really want the structure. What is it?
It's simple. A good, polite debate has four parts: acknowledge their point, state your different view, give a reason, and invite their response.
Acknowledge, your view, a reason, and inviting a response. Let's try one.
Ready. I see what you mean about coffee giving you a lot of energy. But personally, I prefer tea. It find it's gentler on my stomach, and it still helps me focus. What do you think? Have you ever tried switching?
See, acknowledge, I see what you mean. View, preferring tea. Reason, gentler, still helps focus. Invite, asking about switching.
Let's do another one. That's a fair point about city life being more convenient. But honestly, I think I'd prefer the countryside. It's quieter, and they really value that kind of peace. Do you think you'd ever consider it?
That's such a calm, respectful way to disagree. Nothing about it feels combative at all.
Exactly. That's the goal. Confident but genuinely respectful the entire way through.
I also noticed something. The reason part connects a lot to day 20, problem solving, backing up your point with something specific and clear.
Great connection. A view without a reason is just an opinion floating alone, or reason gives it something solid to actually stand on.
Can we try one more, just the two of us, before moving to different personas?
Sure, let's actually do coffee versus tea properly since that's today's challenge topic. I get that coffee wakes you up fast, but tea does that for me too, just more gradually. I like that it doesn't leave me feeling jittery afterwards. Honestly, have you ever noticed that with coffee?
Jittery is such a perfect word for that coffee feeling. I think I might actually be a little persuaded right now.
See, that's polite debating working exactly as intended, one gentle argument at a time.
Can we try one more example, maybe from a different kind of person, just so listeners really understand?
Sure, let's imagine two students debating study methods. I understand why flashcards work well for you, but personally, I prefer summarizing notes in my own words. It helps the information actually stick in my memory. Have you ever tried that approach?
Acknowledge, flashcards working for them. View, summarizing notes instead. Reason, it helps memory stick. Invite, asking if they've tried it.
And one more. Two coworkers debating remote work versus the office. I hear you on missing the social side of the office, but I actually get more done working from home. There are just fewer interruptions throughout the day. Do you think a hybrid schedule might work for both of us?
A hybrid schedule might work for both of us. Such a smart way to end a debate with an actual solution, not just a winner and a loser.
Right, and notice, none of these examples sounded harsh or dismissive, just calm, clear, and genuinely open to the other person's view.
That's really reassuring. I always thought debating meant proving the other person completely wrong.
Not at all. A good debate can end with both people understanding each other better, even if nobody fully changes their mind.
Okay, your turn. Pause the episode and debate a light topic like coffee versus tea for 1 minute using the four-part structure. Acknowledge, your view, a reason, and inviting a response. Ready? Go.
Nice job. Now, here's a small tip. If you genuinely agree with part of what someone said, it's completely fine to say so, even in the middle of a debate.
Really? Doesn't that weaken your own argument?
Not at all. Saying you're right about that part, but actually makes you sound more thoughtful, not weaker. It shows you're truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
That's such a relief to hear. I always thought agreeing with any part of the other side made my whole argument look less convincing.
The opposite is usually true. Genuine, balanced listening almost always makes your own point land more convincingly, not less.
Can you give an example of that using our coffee and tea debate?
Sure, you're totally right that coffee kicks in faster. I won't argue with that. But for me, the slower, steadier energy from tea just fits my day better overall.
Oh, that's such a good example. You conceded a real point, but your own argument still feels just as strong right after.
Exactly. It shows you're being fair, not just stubborn, and that usually makes people trust your opinion even more.
Mr. B, what mistakes do people usually make when debating politely? I feel like I've made a few of these already.
Good question. Mistake number one, skipping the acknowledgement completely and jumping straight into disagreement.
I sometimes just say, no, actually, with zero warm-up at all.
No, actually, is a pretty strong opener. It can put people on the defensive before you've even made your real point.
Okay, mistake one, skipping acknowledgement. What's next?
Mistake number two, making it personal, attacking the person instead of the idea, saying you're wrong instead of I see it a little differently.
Oh, that's such an important distinction. One attacks the person, and the other just shares a different perspective.
Exactly, and that small shift in wording completely changes how the other person receives what you're saying.
What's mistake number three?
Mistake number three, not backing up your view with any real reason. Just saying, I just think so, with nothing solid behind it.
Right, that's basically not an argument at all, just a personal feeling stated loudly.
Exactly. Even one small specific reason makes your point far more convincing and far easier to actually discuss.
Okay, mistake number four.
Mistake number four, refusing to consider the other person's view at all and never really inviting a genuine response.
Right, like just repeating your own point louder instead of actually continuing the conversation.
Exactly. A genuine question back, like, what do you think, keeps it a real conversation, not just two people talking past each other.
Is there mistake number five? There's always one more.
There is. Mistake number five, getting louder or more emotional as the debate continues, letting frustration slowly take over the tone.
Oh, that's definitely happened to me before. A calm conversation slowly turning tense without anyone really noticing at first.
Exactly. Why staying aware of your own tone matters so much, especially the longer a friendly debate goes on.
Quick bonus thought. Does it help to know whether you're debating a fact or just an opinion? I feel like those need different approaches.
Great distinction, actually. Facts can usually be checked and settled, but opinions, like coffee versus tea, are really about personal preference, not right or wrong.
So, with opinions, the goal really is just understanding, not proving anyone right or wrong.
Exactly. Debating a fact and debating a preference call for slightly different energy, even though the four-part structure still works for both.
5 mistakes, 5 easy fixes, plus 1 bonus distinction between facts and opinions. Okay, one more question. Does polite debating change depending on the situation? Formal versus casual?
Great question, yes. In a formal situation, like a work meeting or a structured discussion, you stay measured, evidence-based, and professional.
Like, I understand the appeal of that approach, but based on last quarter's data, I think a different strategy might actually serve us better.
Exactly. Calm, backed by evidence, and genuinely open to further discussion.
And in a casual situation, like debating coffee versus tea with a friend?
In a casual situation, you can relax completely and have a lot more fun with it. Okay, but tea just feels calmer, you know? Coffee always makes me feel like I'm running from something.
Running from something. Such a dramatic, funny way to describe caffeine, and honestly, very accurate.
It's true. Casual debating can be playful and exaggerated without losing the actual structure underneath.
So, formal debating stays measured and evidence based, and casual debating can be playful and a lot more fun.
Exactly. Same four-part structure underneath, just a very different energy depending on the setting.
Can we try one more? Maybe a classic one, like city versus countryside living?
Sure. Formally, in a structured discussion, I recognize the economic advantages of city living, but I'd argue that quality of life factors like reduced stress and cleaner air deserve equal weight in that decision. Casually, with a friend, I get it, the city is exciting and all, but have you ever just sat outside in complete silence? It's amazing.
Sat outside in complete silence, such a peaceful, casual counterpoint to a whole city's worth of noise.
Exactly. Formal debating leans on structured reasoning. Casual debating can just lean on a good, relatable image instead.
Let's practice that difference. Pause again and debate the same light topic 2 ways, once formally, once casually. Go ahead. Great job, everyone. Okay, let's move to word tour.
Word 1. Perspective. This means a particular way of looking at or thinking about something. Example. I understand your perspective on this.
Word 2, valid. This means reasonable and well-founded. Example, that's actually a really valid point.
Word 3. Counter-argument. This means a point made to oppose another argument. Here's my counter-argument to that.
Word 4, concede. This means to admit that something is true even if you don't fully agree. Example, I'll concede that part of your point.
Word 5. Persuade. This means to convince someone to think or do something. Example, you've almost persuaded me, honestly.
Word 6, biased. This means unfairly favoring one side. Example, I think that opinion is a little biased.
Word 7. Objective. This means based on facts, not feelings. Example, let's try to stay objective about this.
Word 8, debate. This means a discussion between people with different views. Example, we had a friendly debate about it.
Word 9. Rebuttal. This means a response that argues against a point someone made. Example, that's a fair rebuttal, actually.
And word 10, compromise. This means an agreement where both sides give up something. Example, maybe we can find a compromise.
One bonus word, nuanced. This means having subtle differences or complexity, not just one simple answer. Example, it's actually a pretty nuanced issue.
11 great words. Try using 2 or 3 of them the next time you're debating something. Now let's move to say it better.
Instead of saying, you're wrong, you can say, I see it a little differently, actually.
Instead of saying, that's not true, you can say, I'm not sure that's entirely accurate.
Instead of saying, I disagree, you can say, I have to respectfully disagree there.
Instead of saying, that makes no sense, you can say, I'm having a bit of a hard time seeing the logic there.
Instead of saying, I'm right, you can say, I still think my point holds up pretty well.
Instead of saying, whatever, fine, you can say, fair enough, I can see where you're coming from.
And instead of saying, let's just agree to disagree, you can say, maybe we can find some middle ground here.
That last one sounds so much more hopeful than just giving up with agree to disagree.
Small changes, but they sound so much more thoughtful and so much more like a real, respectful conversation.
I really love I see it a little differently. It sounds so much softer than a blunt you're wrong.
Exactly. Soft, respectful language lets you disagree firmly without ever sounding disrespectful.
Okay, quick recap before the challenge. Acknowledge their point, state your different view, give a reason, and invite their response.
And remember the small fixes too. Always acknowledge first, keep it about ideas, not people, back up your view with a reason, invite their response, and watch your tone as things continue.
Warm and 8. 4 simple parts, and suddenly disagreeing feels a lot less scary and a lot more like a normal, respectful conversation.
Okay, now for the most important part, today's challenge.
Here it is. Today, debate a light topic like coffee versus tea for 1 minute using the 4-part structure. Acknowledge, your view, a reason, and inviting a response.
Record yourself saying it out loud, even just on your phone. 1 full minute, 1 respectful little debate.
So, better than my usual silent agreement strategy, right?
Much better. Though your silent strategy has kept the peace at a few dinners, I'll admit.
If you want a bonus challenge, try debating the same topic 2 ways, once formally, once casually, just like we practiced today.
And if you feel brave, post it in the comments or share it with the hashtag #RealLifeEnglishChallenge. Day 23, done. 7 more days to go.
And remember, a good debate isn't about winning. It's about sharing your view clearly while still genuinely respecting the other person.
Exactly. Sometimes the best outcome isn't changing anyone's mind at all. It's just understanding each other a little better.
I love that. From silent agreement to a real, confident, respectful voice.
Well said. And remember, this is Real Life English Podcast. Simple English, real life, every day.
See you tomorrow for day 24.
Bye for now, and good luck with that coffee versus tea debate.